Hi, this is Mr. West, and today I'm doing a walkthrough video for division-related facts, decimals to one decimal place, sheet 2. This, of course, is from Math-Salamanders.com. Make sure to check out all of Math-Salamanders' amazing math resources and worksheets. I'm going to start with this one, and this one is talking about division. So when we're doing these division problems, we have a dividend. That's the first number. So that's the first number. The divisor is the second number. And the quotient is the answer, okay? And if we're thinking about division problems, really what we're doing here is we're doing the inverse of multiplication. So if we look at this first question here, we have 32 divided by 4, and we know that's 8. Why is it 8? So if we have 32 divided by 4, really what we're asking ourselves is 4 times what number equals 32? Okay, so in this case, it is 8. Okay, so that answer is 8 for both of those. Now, what happens when we throw in a decimal? Well, if we have a decimal in this first spot, which is called a dividend, it's really not that bad. Really what we're doing here is just going to take the same number and we're going to ignore the decimal. So we have 32 divided by 4, okay, and we know that's equal to 8. But because we have that decimal place and it's moved 1 from the back, okay, so if we moved it 1 over from the end of the number 32, we just need to make sure we put that back when we're done. So as you can see here, if we moved it over, okay, we need to move it back. So there technically should be a decimal there. So if we move it back with our answer, our quotient, there also needs to be an answer there, or sorry, a decimal there, and that's going to be our answer. That's why it's 0.8. This is our example, by the way. Now, what happens if we have a decimal for a divisor, okay, the number we're dividing by? This number, the divisor, needs to be a whole number. When we're doing division, that needs to be a whole number. So if it's not, we have to rearrange it so it is. So let me show you what 32 divided by 0.4 looks like up here. So if we have 32 divided by 0.4, that's what it looks like. And of course, I just said we want this number to be a whole number. So how do we do that? Well, we would want to move that over one place over. Okay, so right now it's one place from being a whole number, so we need to move it 1 over, and so that means we multiply it by 10. But with fractions, we can't just multiply the denominator by 10. We also have to multiply the numerator by 10 in order to keep it balanced. So really what this is 320 divided by 4. Okay, so that's why the problem changes. Your first step is rewriting, anytime it's a decimal divisor, the problem. So this really is 320 divided by 4, which we can kind of pretend is 32 divided by 4 and then just add a 0. So 32 divided by 4 is 8, but then we have that extra 0, so that's why our answer is going to have an extra 0 in it. So it's actually 80. Now, moving on to another problem. So we have 3.2 divided by 0.4. This one actually I think is a little bit easier because if we have to move this divisor decimal over, just like we did up here, we had 32, and we moved that decimal over, and we fill in that number, that's 320. We're going to move this one over too, but this one is a little bit easier to see because we don't have to fill in that 0. So this becomes 32 divided by 4, and that's just 8, and we know that. Now here's my question for you. Why is it that the number gets bigger? So 3.2 becomes 8, 32 becomes 80. Why does it get bigger when we divide by decimal? Well, consider this. If we have 10 divided by 2, okay, that gives us 5. We know that. But 10 divided by 0.5, okay, or 1/2, that number actually gets bigger to 20. So anytime we're dividing by a fraction, it's that same thing. You have to make it into a whole number. So if you made that 5, that'd become 100. So 100 divided by 5 is 20. So that's kind of counterintuitive to what most people think, but that's in reality what the answer is going to be. So let's go through number 2 real quick, and then maybe I'll do one more. So we have 12 divided by 2. We know that's equal to 6. 6 times 2 gives us 12 as our answer. And we're just going reverse for division. Now we have 1.2 divided by 2. We don't care that it has a decimal place here. The only one we're concerned about is that a whole number? And in this case, it is a whole number. So we can just write 6, but then we're going to move that decimal back 1 unit, just like we have there, because we pretended that was 12 divided by 2. So that's 6, but it's not just 12. It's 1.2, so then our answer is going to be 0.6. Here is when we have to make some modifications. So 1, 2 divided by 0.2. I can't have 0.2 as a decimal. I need to make it into a whole number. In order to do that, I would have to multiply it by 10 or move it over one place to the right. So I need to move it one place to the right for 12, which technically has a decimal right there. So that becomes 120. So 120 divided by, no longer 0.2, it's just 2 now. So I know that is equal to 60. Or I can just say 12 divided by 2 is 6. And then I just add on that extra 0, and I'm done with my answer. Okay, this one's a little bit easier because we have the decimals kind of in the same spot. So we're going to move both of them over. Okay, and just to show you how easy that is, if I have something like this, I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by 10, and that gives me 12 over 2, 12 divided by 2, and that equals 6. And that's what we're going to do for all of these problems. So all of them are in a very similar format, so you're going to get the hang of it, hopefully. Let's just go over ahead and jump over to, I guess, number 8. Okay, we'll end on number 8. So with number 8, let's use this color, pink color. Okay, we have 48 divided by 6. That gives us 8. Then we have 48 divided by 0.6. Oh, this time we're dividing by the decimal right away. Okay, so I need to move that over first. If I move that one over, I also have to move that over. So my new problem is 480 divided by 6. I would recommend rewriting the problem. Okay, so if you don't rewrite it, sometimes you're going to kind of make mistakes, and you're not going to put the decimal in the correct spot. So, of course, that's going to be 80. Okay, 48 divided by 6 is, whoops, didn't mean to get that little thing up there. 48 divided by 6 is 8, so then we have an extra 0, so we tag that on there at the end. Okay, so then we move this one over, so we have 48. I'm rewriting it, divided by 6. That gives me 8. And then this one I don't need to move over because this is a whole number already. So I'm going to pretend it's this. Okay, so that's 8. But then there's really a decimal there, which is moved over 1 to the left. So I need to move it back. So my answer is going to be 0.8 for my final answer. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a comment if you have any questions on it. Obviously, I didn't do every question, so naturally some questions might come up, so I happily will answer any comments. Make sure to check out my other Math-Salamanders walkthrough video. Again, Math-Salamanders is a great website that has tons of great resources, and I look forward to seeing you next time right here on Wes Explains Best.